Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stewarding at Okayama. This is round 4 of season 7. We're going to be starting in split 1, and the first incident is with Leon and Lucas, feature lap 2, T9.
What happens here?
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so Lucas did definitely go a bit wide, miss his apex. A little bit unlucky with the contact, really, but I did 2-pointer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a classic 2. Could have been avoided.
Next one is Baz. Heat 1, lap 9. And here. Okay. Protesting involves Kevin and Kyle.
A lot going on here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kevin and Kyle just threw it in there a little bit as they usually would when we can see there's drama up ahead. Something's going to happen. Should be prepared to slow down like Baz did. So I don't think this is on Baz.
We go a little bit further back and watch the same angle.
Border or far chase?
Here's fine. Oh, okay. So there's an incident developing pretty early on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, see it from quite far back, really.
Yeah. I think definitely a little bit of a send there.
Yeah, Kevin does try to avoid it, but by then it's too late. Yeah. So yeah, I think I'm not sure about Kyle though. I think let's see his onboard view. I think at this point, I mean, is the incident made worse by Kyle?
Not really. Oh, the stat incident, the hit right there. But like, yeah, there's also not a lot of place for him to go.
Yeah, I don't think this is already the incident's already happened and developed. I don't think that's really any of his responsibility. So yeah, I don't think I can get any incident points here, but I think maybe 2 for Kevin.
Yeah, I agree.
And the next one from Baz again. I'm on the feature race, lap 1. Protesting Rich. Looks like netcode. Rich is cutting it close, but there's nothing wrong with that. And there's a little bit more space on the inside for Baz too. Yeah, I think this is just unfortunate, really. A little bit of netcode involved. I don't think they would have had the contact otherwise.
Yeah, I think the netcode contact is what makes it look like Rich is pinching more than he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, NFA.
Yep. Next one, Leon. Heat 2, protesting Skylar. An incident on lap 5. So a few cars involved, actually. I remember this one on the broadcast. Getting bounced around. I mean, yeah, at this point, the cars on the side, they can see what's happening, and there's no need to keep squeezing here.
And it's not like it was 3 wide for a quarter second. Like they would have been getting the spotter call if anything
Right.
for a while.
Right, like they both survived one contact already. Like contact there, 2 contacts for Rupesh, 3 contacts. So it's like they know they're in a dangerous situation, and decided not to open up the space a little bit more. Yeah, I don't think there was
Leon's trying.
Yeah, that's getting bounced around. I'm not sure because, I mean, technically, there is a car's width at all times.
Yeah, I don't know, like points wise. It's like unnecessary. But again, as you mentioned, technically there is a car's width. It's just like the whole self-preservation thing. Like we don't need to be pinching this much.
Right. I mean, all 3 of them could have backed out. All 3 of them could have executed better. So I think, I mean, did anyone survive? Nope. They all died. So, I mean, Leon came off worse, but I think NFA, in my opinion, just a racing incident.
Yeah.
Next one, 2-car protest from the feature race, lap 2. Protesting against Christian. Yeah, it looks like Christian tried to get the cut back, but space was just never really there. 2-car executed well, held his line. Standard 2 points.
Yep.
Next one, Kevin. There's Kevin. Feature race protesting Cairo. Incident on lap 11. I think I remember this one actually. The broadcast into this hairpin right here. I mean, that was borderline already, but they got away with it. Here, I mean, the space is there. The space is there, and if you go for a dive bomb, somebody's always gonna, the opportunity for a switchback is gonna be there. I think Cairo tried to cover it off, but it was just a little bit too late. Kevin was already there. They got away with it. Then is the deciding contact. In my opinion, this is a bit more on Kevin. I mean, is he sideways? I think that's going to be the main thing that dictates my opinion. Contact there. Yeah, it gets a little bit sideways.
Yeah, it's just exiting a little wide here.
Yeah. I think then it's more on Cairo because I think Cairo is the one who initiates this contact here. And that is what gets Kevin sideways and kind of it snowballs into a bigger incident.
When does Kevin like commit to going to the? What does it look like when he commits to going on the inside? Yeah, it's there. Like the space is there. Um, Again, though, is it the best move to make for Kevin? Maybe not, because he's going to be entering on the outside for the next corner.
I mean, I think
Unless you clear Cairo beforehand, but
it. Even though you don't want to be on the outside here, it
there's
would
no other option, I guess.
right, and it would force Cairo to have a compromised line, so then Kevin gets another run and stay close for the next one. And I think this is the penultimate lap, so you have to. Position becomes a lot more valuable, especially around here where it's quite difficult to overtake.
To me, I don't know. Like, I think this contact here is probably on Cairo, but then afterwards, I think, is there an opportunity for Kevin to keep it tighter? I don't know.
I mean, that's the thing. He gets sideways and has to catch it. I mean, you could argue that he could have let off the throttle.
It's all happening pretty quick, to be fair.
Right. In my opinion, I'm gonna say 2 points for Cairo. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I think he puts himself in this position. Like you mentioned, second last lap. Is that the best spot to pass? Probably not. There's an opportunity on the front straight, the next lap on the back straight. Plus, you're just losing time to the car ahead. So, yeah. And Kevin was there. So,
I think if he just left a tiny bit more space right here, then it would have been hard, but okay racing. And he still would have held
yeah,
the position.
this is very close to like good hard racing. It's just like one step past that.
Right. Next one, Anthony. I think this is the wrong split. But I think I do remember Anthony saying, yeah, he put the wrong split by accident. So I guess we can come back to that one. Next one, Leon need to the lap one. Turn 5. Mm. I mean, Tuka's line isn't super optimized, but I mean, the car on the outside is cutting across relatively aggressively, or it being lap one when we know everybody's grouped up. There's going to be one, possibly two cars on the inside. So I think this incident here on the outside is shared responsibility. Maybe um, 65 Tuka, 35 to Sammy. Um, I'm not sure if it's penalty worthy, just because I mean they both do contribute a little bit. Lap one, everybody's close together, cold tires, a little bit unpredictable. It feel a little bit harsh, in my opinion, to give a penalty for this. It's like they don't really have much time to react or do anything.
Yeah, I think NFA racing incident, like you said, both drivers are slightly suboptimal with their lines here.
Mm-hmm. Next one we have Iro and Kevin. Lap 11, turn 8. I think this is a repeat protest of the one um, we just watched, actually. Let me see. Here it is. Yeah, I think NFA on this repeat protest.
Likely the same for the next one.
Yeah. Um, Jan Beecher, lap 1. Yep. This is a repeat protest. Already gone through. Just a little bit unlucky. So NFA on that one. Next one, Brian. To lap 4. Ay, ay, ay.
This one's a little different than the last one.
Yeah. I mean, so Leon is definitely being quite aggressive here with the squeeze, but because of the point of contact, we don't get to the point where we can't judge if he's going to leave enough space or not. We just don't get to that point of the corner entry. At the same time, Brian is not going to use the track, so Hmm. I think they both contribute, but is one of them's line more unreasonable than the other? Do you think?
I think, like, I would agree that Brian likely isn't getting all the way over to the right. Again, hard to judge because we are still not at the breaking point. But I would say his trajectory is pretty predictable exiting the hairpin. I understand it's kind of in Leon's blind spot depending on his setup, but it's a pretty smooth like exit out of the hairpin. He's slowly going over to the right, and I think Leon just over anticipates where he's going to be. Like we could say we're expecting Brian to be at the white line on the right, but he isn't, and it's not like he started going over to the right, then went completely straight and changed where he was pointed. He held that trajectory pretty consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and looking at it again, after the contact, Leon does kind of jink to the left. That's what makes it look like he leaves a card width. Other than that, if it wasn't for that, I think it'd have been super close. So that's what you said. What do you think?
Um, one or two, probably two. Um, I guess two for Leon. You think?
Yeah, I can agree with that. Next one involving. Oh, this is another repeat protest. So NFA on that one, and we go into split 2. So, first incident in split 2 is from Josh. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't even look like Marion was necessarily late on the brakes in terms of making the corner. Just lap 2 in a train, cold tires. But there's going to be a checkup. Didn't account for that. Carried a tiny bit too much momentum into the corner. So, yeah, standard 2-pointer, in my opinion.
Yep.
The next one, we've got a couple from Nozami. The first one is in the feature race, lap 2. System Josh. Similar thing, really. Side by side ahead. Lap 2, cold tires. It's going to be a checkup. And Josh doesn't quite take that into account enough. Speed. Yeah, and I think pretty standard. 2-pointer.
Yep.
Next one, heat 1, lap. Heat 1, 6. Oof. Yeah, I mean, I don't think enough space is left for drivings on the inside here. He's even got a tight in the grass. The zombie just squeezes a little bit too much. Maybe loses track. They are quite wide. But at the same time, it looks like the zombie is slow out of the gravel, so we should be anticipating somebody getting a run on us, really.
Yeah.
I think. What do you think for points?
What happens to this? The other, yeah, Edward. Does he get damage?
No.
Uh, I would probably. He loses a bit of track position. If he does lose the draft from the cars ahead, I mean, maybe it could be 1 point for
Yeah.
the
I agree.
zombie.
I agree with that.
I think part of it too is like might be mirror watching from Nizami. Maybe he saw the car to the left and wasn't accounting for where the apex was there. But yeah, 1 point.
Next one from Neil. We have a qualifying protest. Qualifying lap 3. Um, um, I'm I'm not sure on this one because in qualifying, are we really going to expect someone to break super early and slot in behind? If you wanted to do that, why would you not do it along this entire straight um, you have here? Um, so I think a little bit unpredictable from Neil, to be honest. If you wanted to pull inside, could have done it on the straight, or you could have just hung it around the outside. Because at this point, your lap is pretty much done for anyway. You're going to lose a lot of time from this. I think it caught Ryan by surprise a little bit.
It almost looks like Neil is giving way to the cars behind from Ryan's perspective.
Right. Um, I think even though it is a little bit unpredictable from Neil, I don't think it's anything crazy unreasonable. Like at the end of the day, I think Ryan did. Even though he was caught out by surprise, he did make a slight mistake too. So
For sure.
I think it's just miscommunication, a little bit unfortunate. I'd say NFA really.
Mm-hmm.
Next one we have couple involving the same drivers. Heat 2, lap 2. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to make it 3 wide, we have to execute it. One thing I will say is Todd does move under braking slightly. He's braking facing this direction and kind of jinks to the right, which forces the car behind to do the same thing. which is probably going to activate ABS, lower the braking efficiency, which contributes to the incident.
He does make the apex though.
Yeah, like there was a tiny bit of space on the inside, but it's not like you could have executed it too much better. But then at the same time, the car in the middle isn't left much room either. I'm not sure.
Oh, I think we're looking at the wrong incident, by the way.
Are we?
Heat 2, lap 2 with Zhang.
Yes, we are looking at the wrong one. I just went incident and assumed this is what we were looking at.
I assume we'll be back for that one though.
Yep. So forget this one for now. I guess we go ahead.
Next heat.
Yeah. Wow, wrong heat and wrong incident. It? Yep, this is it.
Drivers are moving into each other, but from Zhang Yi's perspective, it's obviously more of an aggressive move. And do we really want to make it 4 wide into turn 1? It's not the highest. Definitely does not have the highest probability in terms of success rates.
Right. And, especially not so late. I think that's what causes the incident. If they try to make it 4 wide all the way back here, and everybody could kind of get themselves situated and make their calculations, make their plans, it might have turned out better. But moving to the right at the last second, pretty much at the breaking point, is a little bit unpredictable and dangerous. So I think that's what makes it a penalty for Zhongyi, in my opinion. If he made this move earlier, might have been fine, but this aggressive swing so late is not great. I think the question is it a 2 or a 3?
I think it still is considered a straight at this point. And there were a couple decisions here that could have been better. So I would be leaning towards a 3.
Roger. Move that. Okay, next one we have the feature race. Lap 1. Let's see what happens. Ay. Similar thing. Just tried to force the car into a gap that wasn't there. And we spoke about this a couple of times in the past. If you are going to squeeze, calculate the risk versus reward. calculate the outcome. But at this point here, you're pretty much pitman everything yourself. If you're side by side, it sure be a bit more aggressive. At this point, it's just asking for trouble. What happens to Josh here? That's away with it, really. Loses 3 positions, maybe a second. Is it a 1 or a 2? I think.
Does anything happen following, like does Zongi come across the track on the front straight there? No, okay. Just want to make sure. I'd still be leaning towards 2, I think. Mitigating factor is nothing really. Josh lost track position. But he was still able to fight, hence why it's not a 3 for a moving on the straight type incident.
Mm-hmm. Roger. So next one, Yanis Heat to lap 3. Yeah, just Mark missing the apex here. Yeah, I think even without the contacts, miss it by quite a bit. I think, yeah, pretty standard. 2-pointer here.
Yep. Could we see it one more time, sir?
Mark
Okay,
Yanis.
gotcha. Yep.
Okay, next one. Heat 1. Lap 4. Okay. So I think coaching perspective really quickly. Ian, I think puts himself in danger here. Really, kind of caught in 2 minds. First of all, sitting in the middle, we're not accomplishing anything here at all. You stay to the left, at least we get draft. We can maybe get a run, overtake, or you go all the way to the right to actually defend your position. Here, we don't do anything except create a dangerous situation. Because Ian has to turn in super early to avoid coming outside, which I think makes it look worse than it is from the driver behind. Like, I don't think this is a reasonable turning point, really, all the way back here. Even though there's not much overlap.
Can we go from a bird's eye perspective one more time? I just want to see. Oh, okay. So Ian doesn't have an overlap on the outside car, so it's not like the outside car is really turning in too early for a too wide scenario because they're not too wide.
Right. And just being staggered, kind of. Great drama. Yeah, I think
A little early for sure.
Yeah, I think the would have held the apex really easily. and had overlap for the normal turning point around here. I'm not sure though. What do you think?
What's the result of this contact? Yeah. I think maybe 2 points for Ian.
Yep. Which does seem a little bit harsh, but you know, created the dangerous situation, turned in a bit early. Easily avoidable. You just made your decision early and stuck to it. You're either stay in the draft and go for overtake, or at least bump draft, right, to give yourself some room, or defend completely instead of half committing. Yeah, next one. Is a repeat protest. Next one is Nathan. Heat 2, lap 1. Okay. Yeah, a little bit aggressive. I think 3 points really. I can't see any justification or reason for this aggressive move instead of just following the line smoothly.
Yeah, anytime we're going to make an abrupt lane change on the straights, we have to be sure there's no cars around us. So I think it's a fairly easy 3.
Yep. Okay. Let's see, Dominicus. Heat 1. Lap 7. Stephen and Adam. Yep. I'm not sure this is a kind of holding brakes scenario. Both cars are pretty much racing forward, accelerating, and getting up to speed. It's only just gonna help the situation really. It doesn't make sense to hold your brakes when you're racing forward like this.
I love Adam's livery there. Resafe jointly on the back.
Yeah. I'd say no further action for this one, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed.
Next one, Dominique Kisnil, Heat 1, lap 8. See what happens. Heat 1, lap 8. I don't see anything on Heat 1, lap 8. So I check Heat 2 if it's not in Heat 2. And move on. Okay, so we're gonna skip this one. Okay. The final roll from Dominicus. Feature race lap 2, protesting Stephen.
Was that it at the start of the lap there, entering turn 2?
Being yeah, serve a slowdown penalty. Apparently, let's see if he got one. Yep, definitely.
Yeah,
Slowdown
right
here.
there.
Yeah, serving a slowdown on the race line is really bad. Yeah. Nothing happened this time.
There was definitely an opportunity on the front straight.
Right, you've got this straight. You've got this straight. I think a warning because it was borderline and there was nothing resulted from it this time.
Yep.
Okay, now a few from Ian. First one, Heat 1. Oh. Oh, this is a repeat protest. I mean, it was a dive, but it was executed well. It was just Ian. You were turning in a little bit too early. Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, you could have avoided this by just committing to the defense. Half committing like this doesn't really do anything except make the situation more dangerous. Or you could have stayed in the draft, right? That would have let you get the run for an overtake yourself, or to bump draft Travis, to open up the gap, protect yourself, the car behind that way. But yeah, NFA on that one. Next one, to protesting Norman. Yeah. I mean, taking avoiding action, and it was a little bit exaggerated, but I think everybody saw it coming. So
Is this? I wonder if it's something different because Ian is a couple cars ahead. I wonder if it was that contact there, exiting the double left. Right up here, maybe. Maybe after the next one, I think there was another. Yeah, that right there, because Ian is the 102, I believe.
yeah. There's that there. Again,
Or
just
I think it's just a mistake and does as good of a job as he probably could have. I mean, maybe he didn't have to rejoin the track that aggressively, but I don't think that's what he was trying to do.
I think he downshifted to first, which is what kind of kicked the rear end out right there. But yeah, intentionally bad rejoin, just a bit sideways on the gravel.
That there, I think, is a little lucky. They kind
Yeah,
of got away with that.
I'll say NFA on that one. Next
Yep.
one, Ian. Heat 2, lap 2. Protesting Ryan. Actually, I think I might be looking at Ryan lap 1, Heat 2. Yeah. Ryan goes in a bit too hot here. This is Apex, slides wide. Um, yeah, I think even without Dominico making that mistake, Ryan just carries a tiny bit too much speed. But at the same time, if Dominico doesn't make that mistake, this incident doesn't really happen. So, sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Ryan's definitely releasing the brake a little bit on the turn in, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just unfortunate timing. If Dominico makes his apex, Ryan just maybe dips tires into the gravel on exit because he carried too much speed, and we wouldn't really be looking at it. So I think I'm leaning towards NFA. It's just unlucky, really.
Yep, I agree. And then two more. Heat 2, lap 2. I think this is a repeat protest. Yep, this is a repeat protest. So NFA on this one. And this is it. Ian, next one. Ben's first protest is Heat 1, lap 1. Protesting Ryan.
That's good racing here.
Yeah, I was about to say, looking good so far. Um, um, Jens is a tiny bit under the limit. But I mean, lap 1, cold tires in a train of cars, I don't think that's unreasonable. Same, yeah, I think Ryan does have enough time to react, really. Just a tiny lift would have been enough.
Yeah, I think probably 2 points for Ryan.
Yep. Okay, next one. Heat 2, 2. Nico missing the apex. breaking a bit too late. Pretty standard 2-pointer. Dominico.
Can we see it one more time? Yep. I just want to see the names. Thank you.
And then we have the final one from Jen's. Heat to feature race 1. Um, I think this is a little bit different from the previous one we saw because there's accelerates on the gravel, which we should know is a bad idea. It's going to give it a sideways. Better to just coast. Sure you rejoin safely. I think this one was a bit more avoidable.
Yeah, I think. Can we go back to right when Urs is off track and a little bit more forward? Yeah, I also think like Jens probably could have left a little bit more room. At some point the driver has to rejoin. I think he just starts that process a little late. But I don't know. I think everyone gets away with it. Dominico kind of already gets punished for not leaving enough room on the second left there at the apex.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of leaning towards NFA here. Jens does get damage.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'd say 1 point, just because a little bit of damage and it's quite difficult to overtake around here. So losing some straight line is definitely going to hurt you for the rest of the race.
Fair.
Okay, and we have Robert. The feature race, multiple drivers involved. Lap 5. Am I on the right? Yep, feature lap 5. Protest says this is more of a request for review as there was no incident. Guessing I crashed somewhere.
You're on lap 6, by the way.
Don't see anybody involved in any big incidents in that file. So if you wanted us to review something a little bit more detail, would have been useful. So NFA on that one. Next one, and the final one, hit 2. Matthew, heat 2. That. Protest says after turn 4.
One note. We'll talk about that later. That's right. Can we go back to when the all white car commits to going to the inside? I think Juan commits to the move when there is barely a car's width to the right, and then it closes when he commits to it. But again, I think it artificially opens up because of how the track curves there. Like it would be impossible for Julian to exactly hold the white line or exactly not leave a car's width on the right because of how aggressively the track kinks.
I think the space, it's there at this moment, but it's not there at the point of actual overlap. Like the space was always going to close. In my opinion, like it was super predictable. Space wasn't really there. And yeah. And it's like, yeah, I mean, once we realize that, we can back out, which of course no racing driver ever wants to do. No one wants to back out of a run, but I mean, we're not allowed to overtake off the racing surface. And if this resulted in an incident, it wouldn't even be a compensation. It'd be like a 4-pointer. So, I'd say. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm going to pause it quickly. Yeah, so intentionally overtaking outside track limits is a 1-point penalty. So
Yeah.
I think 1 point for one here.
Yep.
And that is it for split 2. So, on to split 3. The first incident is being protested by Daniel. Feature race lap 1. With Carlton Howard. Okay, yeah. Daniel says that Carlton didn't manage momentum, but I do think Daniel did break super early to the point of being a bit unreasonable, and unpredictable, to be honest. Especially when you've got so much space ahead of you, Daniel. Like, you don't need to manage momentum or break super early. Like, you don't need to worry about that as much.
Yeah. Agreed.
So,
Does Carlton get damage?
a little bit,
Oh,
yeah. He decided to stop.
probably could have kept going.
It's quite early. I mean, breaking earlier than, well, pretty much the same time as the cars ahead. People were like 3 or 4 columns ahead. So yeah. Points wise, what do you think?
I think.
I think
2, maybe. Ah, it it could be 3, maybe. That would feel harsh.
I'd say 2. I was thinking 1, but the reason I say 2 is because Daniel gets on the brakes so heavily. It's not as if he was on the brakes just a tiny bit, trying to manage his momentum in the wrong way. It's like he slammed on the brakes, which created quite a big contact.
Right, and I want to say I appreciate, Daniel, that you are paying attention to the brake lights ahead. Again, like Kane said, it looks like you're braking when you see the other drivers ahead brake, but that more applies when you're close to the other cars, right? You're braking at the same time as them, but you're 5 car lengths behind them, so that is a lot earlier for people behind you to be expecting you to brake. So yeah, I think 2 points makes sense.
Okay, next one we have is from Carlton. Heat to lap 7. Ooh, nice move. Oof. Hmm. It's a difficult one.
Can we see it from the 55s, Chase? I just want to see that angle. Yeah. I think both drivers are slightly aggressive in their lines. Like Carlton on the inside probably could have been tighter to the apex sooner. He's like slightly washing away from the apex, but then the 55 is also pinching, or at least on a path to pinch aggressively.
All right. I think, yeah, just two lines converging has contributed to it a little bit. In a fate.
Yep. I think racing incident.
Okay, next one, Carlton again. Heat 2 again, lap 9. Turn 5 and 6.
Okay, so this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, I think, where Brian, I think it was consistently moving over to the right. Whereas here, it looks like Carlton is initially moving slightly right and then straightens out all of a sudden and almost changes where he's pointing. So yeah, I think this one would probably be more on Carlton here.
Yep, I agree. And similar to an incident earlier with Longxi, you know, look at the positioning of the cars, right? If you're going to try and squeeze somebody, you have to think if there is contact, who's going to come up worse. And in this situation here, right, going to be Autumn. So is it really worth the squeeze? Not really. Just creating a dangerous situation for yourself, but it wasn't really needed. The outside car is going to have the better run out of the next two corners anyway. A little bit unpredictable. What happens to the car behind? So, uses a little bit of time, but not much. I'd say no further action. I think Carlton is punished enough. And I mean, technically, it's not against the rules to squeeze. Even if it is a bad squeeze, it's not against the rules. So I wouldn't even give him one, considering he already spun himself.
Yep. FA, right?
Yep.
We both agree on that? Okay.
Next one, Andre Heat 2. Lap 4. With Philip. Yeah. I think it's a little bit aggressive from Philip. There's no need to rush this, especially when we can see there's clearly a car right next to you. So what do we think is going to happen if we turn left so aggressively? Right, you can just rejoin super smoothly. You've got all this space here. There's no need to do it. It's early. And even if you do get off track, I mean, protest, right? Protest someone for squeezing you off track rather than ruining your own race. Yeah, we never get to the point where we can even discuss that, right? Like, will Andre leave you in a space? We'll never know because the contact happened so early. So I think this one is on Philip. Say, I'm not sure. Is it 2 or 3?
I would probably say a 2. A 3 would feel harsh just because there is not a lot of margin there.
Yeah, we can agree there then. 2 points. Okay, next one, Andre feature race. Lap 10. With Lance. This is a little bit weird. Lance he's hit the apex. He's holding his line, but then he straightens it up quite early.
I also think Lance Apex is a little earlier than he would like to.
Yeah, I think maybe he just gets on the power a tiny bit. Yeah, he's accelerating. That's what causes the understeer right there. I think 2 points for Lance, in my opinion.
Yep.
Next one, Austin, Heat 2, 6. Oof. Austin. The car ahead makes a mistake. Miguel gets caught up in it. Miguel apologizes at this point. Yeah, the rejoin. The rejoin is not great. Just going to press protest here. Um, 4 points. Yeah, I don't know what this is about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think pretty standard rejoin penalty. So 4 points. Miguel here.
Yep.
Okay, next one is from Lance. Feature race. Two. Can't be lap 2. There's 2 to last. Protesting. Oh yeah, so repeat protest. Yeah.
Yep.
Lance again. Heat 2. Lap 1. Protesting Charles. No. Think Charles, I don't think he's actually trying to go for a move. He's just kind of looking to the inside to see where he's going. Lance is a bit cautious, and then in turn, that wider line makes him go slower. Charles goes through the back of him. At the end of the day, it is the driver behind's responsibility to manage your momentum, make sure you're leaving space. Two points for Charles.
Yep, I agree. A little wide.
Final one. Zachary feature race. Protesting. Yeah, I mean Zachary's using all of the available track really. It's not really left any space. think, yeah, standard. 2 points. I don't think they're quite on a straight yet. I'd say 2 points.
Yep.
And the final one is split 3 from James. Feature race lap 11. We're testing Austin. Oof.
Definitely a lot of moves from the red car. I'm not saying the incident itself is the red car's fault. But again, we've spoken about this before, and it causes you to make a lot of calculations as you're making all those line adjustments. But it's also causing unpredictability for the car behind. And so I bet this incident doesn't happen if you pick your line early and stick to it, because Austin's going to be able to, have more mental bandwidth to think about where he's going to place his car because he knows where your car is placed.
Right. And yeah, it's just a little bit unpredictable to move right and then get on the brakes and change line all of a sudden. Like James's line, it looks something like this: turning right and then brake straight like this. And Austin, I think, following him. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think Austin's line is unreasonable either. Like he's braking, he's aiming here, which is exactly what you want to do. So I don't think anything too crazy or unreasonable from Austin. Like Connor said, just a dangerous situation from the moving. That makes it difficult to judge and navigate safely. I'd say NFA.
Yeah, I think it's just too unpredictable to put anything on Austin there.
Yeah. And finally, on to split 4. The first one we have is from Angus, feature race, lap 1, protesting Scott.
Slightly wide at the apex.
Yeah. A bit wide. I think a tiny bit of netcode involved. I don't think it would have happened without the netcode. I mean, the thing is, it looks like Scott's wide, but this is a relatively late apex corner anyway, so I don't think it's anything super crazy. It's not completely optimized, it's not absolutely perfect, but I don't think it's too unreasonable really from Scott here. Lucky, both cutting it close, a little bit of netcode.
Yep.
NFA in my opinion.
Yep.
Next one, Alexi, feature at 10. Protest with him and Mikhail. Um,
I think, I mean, obviously, this could have been avoided. The reason, obviously, Mikael has to lift so much is because he's not optimizing his line on entry, and again, it's very hard to predict how much to lift when we're that far off of the optimal line. Again, not only is being close to the other car obviously the fastest way you're going to be able to take the corner, but it's also the most predictable because you're the closest you can possibly be to your typical racing line. I think Mikael definitely lifts a little too much here. Yeah, it's just a little bit unpredictable for the 106, I would say.
yeah, and I think even with the compromised entry, it would have been okay. But it's also the exit that Mikel is super under the limit. Like his line, it looks like it's going to be something like that. Just could have gotten power a bit earlier, more aggressively. Had a bit more momentum out of the corner. So yeah, I think a little bit unpredictable. I don't think it's worthy of the penalty. I think Alex got away with it.
Yep.
Next one is a repeat protest. Actually, so no further action. But Mikel does say he had to take a tighter line with less speed. But as Connor just explained, how much tighter do you really need to actually be? Only one car width, really. That's how much tighter you need to be. You don't need to be all the way over here, turning in this early. But yeah. The final one is from Harry. Heat 2 at 4. Self-protest. I didn't leave enough room for Valentin. I do not agree with that. So this is an even more extreme example of what we just spoke about. When you're this far to the inside, I mean, the cars always want to go wide. But even if you did leave the perfect amount of space, which I think you did really, like there's almost exactly one car width there, but simply because of the difference in trajectory, the contact has extreme sequences. So yeah, I think this one is actually on Valentin more than anything. Not optimizing his line, braking a little bit too late, considering that always gonna go wide.
Yep.
The 2-pointer, split 4. And we are done for this week's Stewarding.